Good afternoon.
Welcome everyone to our November meeting. The agenda is circulated, there are no changes. Item 1 is to receive apologies for absence, please.
Yes, Chair, Councillor Kate Walker for personal reasons.
Okay.
Apologies.
Thank you. I propose we accept Councillor Walker's apology for absence, and seconded by Councillor Street. All those in favour, please. That's unanimous, thank you. Item 2, to receive declarations of interest and to consider any request for dispensation in accordance with the Code of Conduct. We have any declarations? Thank you, Councillor. Item 3 is to agree and sign the minutes of the council meeting held on the 13th of October, which is Appendix 1. So, do we have any
Just
comments or questions?
One correction, Chair, the wrong month report was sent out by us from Council Actual. The July report, I think, was appended rather than the October report. So, it's corrected in the one that you signed.
Thank you. Subject to that amendment. To accept. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Blackshaw. All those in favour? Oh, that's unanimous. Thank you. Sorry, I thought. And moving on now to item 4, which is public participation. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak?
You go first. Yeah. Thank you. Christopher McLeod, number 1 Castle Road. Been in the village about 25 years, so like yourselves, I want to do right by the village and volunteer where I can. About 18 years ago, playing cricket, and there were plans to move the cricket pitch up to the top, which was great, and the football was going to stay down here, and there was money that was ring fenced to specifically do that. I was looking at the budget that you guys have presented today. I can only see the projects and amenities, so I suspect the ring-fenced money for the cricket club is in there. Is that correct? Or where does that show in the income expenditure?
It doesn't show in the revenue budget because it's in a reserve, because it's one-off money. So the money that we have so far, it sits in an earmarked reserve, which is not shown as part of the paperwork this evening. Most of the money still sits with Charlotte Borough Council because it's Section 106 money.
Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
probably the wrong meeting to then bring that up. Do I then come to the projects and amenities meeting for further insight and volunteering into that?
Is it something special you want to know? Specific? Or you just want an update?
Well, the rumours are that it's going to be a multi-sports event, and it's not just allocated to the cricket club, and it's just making sure that the ring-fenced money goes to what it was promised for 18 years ago. For the use of it, then that can be decided amongst everyone in the community, that's fine. But I think from the cricket club perspective, they could then generate the income from that to then put back into the community for youngsters and that. Otherwise, when it comes to money, it gets diluted very quickly because everyone wants a piece of the pie. But if it's ring fenced like it was promised, then that's fantastic, and the cricket club can then know and understand and have a tick in the box and then make plans for 2026, 27 in the future.
Thank you.
I'll just comment briefly that it is a sort of a budget item, though it's not shown here, in the sense that some money has been ring-fenced for the cricket, and that has already been spent in establishing the cricket pitch, which is just taking place at Seaton Road. That was really all the money that was ring-fenced for cricket specifically, and the rest of the provision is for general sport, football, cricket, and pavilion, the allotments, the infrastructure, and so on, of which we need to raise a lot more yet to be able to complete the project. So the money that was specifically earmarked for cricket has been spent so far just on establishing the cricket pitch, which cost about £250,000. And then there's some money which is earmarked for sports facilities and for young people, which is part of this project, some of which could be allocated to the War Memorial Fields area as well. And it's up to council to decide how to request that money from Charnwood against what particular bits of expenditure. But those things will be coming to the Projects and Amenities Committee in due course once we get our planning permission, hopefully in January.
Thank you.
Anybody?
Yeah, I'm feeling slightly ashamed because it's my third time. You should have introduced yourself, so I feel compelled now to stand like this and dashing orator, but unfortunately it's not. Padlock, League 24 Linfield Road. Yes, firstly, thank you to the parish manager. I'm holding this. Things on the speech. Thank you to the parish manager for putting the signs for the football club on the parish next door. I don't know if it was you, but you're the person I emailed. As I randomly visit other villages around here, I noticed that in Markfield Parish Council, on their parish notice boards, they've got village maps with a plot of where the defibrillators are. And I thought that was quite interesting to have made more publicly available. I know where at least 2 are, but I think for people that don't know, I think it was a nice thing to have on the parish notice boards. I also noticed that Anstey Parish has got an award for being a Gold Parish Council. I don't know how you get one of those, but if you're not aware of it, I thought that'd be a nice thing to apply for. Also, as you're doing the budget, I wondered if there was a case of having a few more notice boards. I noticed that the PSFA and the football club occasionally are putting up posters, shall we say, in unofficial areas, and it might be useful if there were perhaps more sites for those notices to go up. I was trying to work out where the notice boards are, and I've got Walton Way, the One Stop, Waitrose, just outside here, which I'm guessing means that Kingfisher Estate doesn't have one.
There's one at the co-op.
Oh yeah, it's the co-op, yeah, but the Kingfisher doesn't have one at all, which would be, and I don't think there's not one between here and Waitrose, which is quite a long stretch without one. I saw that the budget for them last time was it seemed like there were a couple of hundred each, so I didn't feel like it was unreasonable to suggest maybe a few more. About a month ago I met with Councillor Baxhaw regarding the website, and it still seems to have the same issues. I don't know if there's an expected timescale for those to be addressed. I was sort of hoping in the spirit of there being an election, genuinely expecting one of the candidates might actually be here, but that's optimistic. The website may have been updated, but it seems like it still has the same errors on it. And the new ones are appearing, which is concerning. There's a particular timescale for it to be rectified or looked into going forward. And if you're considering budgets, you might want to consider steps to alleviate those.
Forwarded all the information to the deputy manager.
I figured it wasn't here. I was just giving a timestamp because that was only 5 days after the last meeting, so it was, but it's been at least a month. I don't think there are substantial changes by any stretch of the imagination.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Lockley. We've made notes. Okay. Are we ready to move to item 5, which is information update from the chair and the parish manager? I've just got a couple of things just to keep you up to date. I had a meeting with the Friends of Castle Gardens last week, because they're looking at the possibility of submitting an application for the Green Flag Award, but that's got to be decided. Yesterday I was proud to represent Council at the Service of Remembrance, and I'd like to thank everyone who helped and those who took part. It was once again a very moving service. Reminder, tomorrow there is a short service tomorrow hereabouts in the Peace Gardens at 11 a.m. And that's all I've got to say, apart from I look forward to seeing you on December the 5th for our team meal.
Thank you, Chair. Excuse me, I've got a sore throat, but I'll carry on. Things are progressing with the War Memorial Fields Trust Committee decision to install some adult gym equipment on the field near the play area. I've asked Ian, our Deputy Manager, to undertake a public consultation like we did with the play equipment about what would people like to see. Obviously, there are limits because it's constrained by how much money is available, but we can still ask people what they might prefer, and so that will be happening in the next several weeks, I think, which would be a good way of engaging people in what is going to be a new facility, and the first, I think, of its kind in the village. So that's good.
You used to have them before.
Didn't it?
Yeah, the trim trail all the way.
Oh yes, I've heard about that. Yes. And the second item I want to draw members' attention to, and I circulated an email today, is the proposal from myself to get somebody, an independent person, to come and conduct some work with us on a mediation in terms of the number of complaints that have been going in, which most members will be aware of. There are a number of complaints gone into the monitoring officer from one council to another, and I think it's having an impact on the council which is beyond my ability to manage, to be honest, and I think it will be helpful to have somebody independent who would work with yourselves, as many of you as want to be, but certainly all those who have been on the receiving end of a complaint or have made a complaint, because I think we need to understand what is behind that and see if we can work that through to produce a more constructive environment in which the council conducts its business. So I've spoken to some of you about this already, and there's support in, excuse me, in principle. And the person that we found spent a long time, to be honest, looking for somebody who has experience of parish councils. Parish councils are rather unique bodies, and there are quite lots of people who work with businesses and other organisations, but not with parish councils. This person has considerable experience in parish councils, also not as expensive as some people who are charged certain amounts of money. And so I think this would be helpful. And there's a one-page outline of what the process is, and I just wanted to not to put this on the council as an agenda item, but to give you all the chance to hear about it at once and see. And if you want to be involved, let me know. I'll be sending around obviously an email saying, and those of you who wish to talk to the mediator can then do so. Thank you, Chair. Any questions?
Thank you, Ross. And moving on to item 6, which is to receive reports of the county and borough councillors.
Thank you very much, Chair. Well, a full report there. You will have you might have noticed that the Leicester City proposals for local government reorganisation have changed somewhat. It would seem that although they retain their preferred model, they have suggested an alternative model which would split Leicestershire County Council essentially into two parts, where you would have, and get this, Hinckley and Bosworth, North West Leicestershire, Charnwood, Melton and Rutland all forming one unitary council, and Leicester City forming another unitary council with the remaining districts. Theirs has been, ratified by their council. Leicestershire County Council's proposals, I believe, are going through council today. I don't know how that went. And North City South is still going through the individual district councils, but is due to be going through ours on Thursday night. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I can't see us backing it really, given the effort put into it, but there we go. Also, I had a meeting with the Minister for Veterans at the end of last month. We were very lucky that she was able to squeeze us into her schedule, and you may have seen today information on Valor, which is a new government initiative to support veterans, and I was asking her if we could possibly have a Valor Centre in Loughborough. And think that's about it, really. Everything else is covered in the report. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Councillor Bratton? Thank you very much. Item 7 is to approve the expenditure for October as detailed in Appendix 2. Comments or questions?
Propose to accept.
Could I have a second? A seconder? Councillor Overton. All those in favour? Any against? Any abstentions? One abstention, Councillor. Agenda.
Thank you.
Agenda item 8 to consider the draft 2026-27 budget preparation, Appendix 3.
Yes, Chair, I'm going to take the report as read. What we've done at this stage is to, because it's still quite early, to start to make a great many forecasts of next year's budget. But we have produced a revised budget based on expenditure to date, in the first 8 months of the financial year. And we've also been able to, because of the business planning process at the MMC, been able to complete the budget lines for 26-27 for the Memorial Centre at this stage. So really this is just the first outing for members to express their views, and if they've got any particular ideas, like Mr Lockley suggested, more notice boards, any ideas like that, we can then we can get those costed and we can include them for discussion and possible inclusion. Members to start thinking about what the salary increases might be in 26-27. Historically, we've been awarded about an average of 5% over the last 2 years. It may be too soon for members to say that. May want to think about that more. And then there may be areas where members in the budget think we should be looking for savings. We have done so with the MMC budget and achieved quite significant savings, which helped us to keep the budget inside the envelope that we aimed for. So any areas for new projects. Also, what level of inflation? Inflation is currently, depending on what you look at, changes obviously almost by the week, 4.5%, but it's projected to fall significantly in 26-27. These are forecasts, of course, but they're the best forecasts we have on which to base assumptions for the 26-27 budget. So I'm really happy, Chair, not to say a great deal more, to take any comments and questions members want to feed in. Don't have to do it here, of course, in this meeting. It's an ongoing process. We'll be bringing a full draft budget to the December meeting of Council, and then a final set of proposals to the January meeting of Council. So in between time, members can obviously send in email, ask for meetings or whatever. If they've got ideas, suggestions, comments or questions, Chair, during that process until we get to the point in January where Council will need to agree. Excuse me.
Do we have any questions? Councillor Bennett?
I think we had a member of the public mention that we should be looking at investing in more notice boards. I think we should potentially look at that as a scheme.
I think you mentioned it.
I did, yeah.
My other point is, just to make sure I'm fully understanding the numbers that are in front of me, am I looking at the revised number or the 26-27 number? Because some have figures in, some have no figures in.
Yeah.
So I got myself in a bit of a fuddle when I was trying to work out income and expenditure.
Yes, as I just tried to explain, this draft at the moment is showing the revised budget, which actually is based on 8 months expenditure, shown forward to show what 12 months might be. And there are some 26-27, particularly the MMC, completed, but not all. So don't look at the totals for that because they're not relevant at this stage. but the revised figures are complete for all the budget heads. So basically, what that is saying, I think overall, is that we're spending against the budget, apart from a couple of areas that I identify in the report, as we would expect to be, and our income is better than we forecast on the whole. So that's the sort of overall picture of the budget, if you like, strategically.
Sorry, just can I ask a follow-up question? Whilst I appreciate the Memorial Centre, the library income is blank, and also so is projects and amenities expenditure, that's blank as well. So that was the reason for my question.
Library expenditure may not, we may not have got to a position where we can say what that is at the moment. Income, library income. You said the project and amenities income is.
It's on the last page, page 22, the balance is 0.
So on the last page is expenditure, not income, isn't it? So I think you said income, did you?
Sorry, I said income on the library and expenditure on the projects and amenities.
It's not 0, is it? It's 84,255.
That's in the revised bit, not 2026 to 2027?
Yeah, so there are no figures yet entered.
Oh, I apologise,
So-
I thought you referred to the MMC. Apologies.
No, the MMC figure, there are figures, sorry, for the MMC 26-27.
Mm-hmm.
There are no figures now, there are not many figures for the rest of the council yet, because we haven't done those yet.
Okay.
But what we have done is revised figures. So this is not yet a proposal or a forecast for what we would require in 26-27. So this is a point where it would be helpful for members to indicate what their priorities might be for either in new areas of expenditure or any reductions they want to see, based on the budgets that you can see are spending. I mean, so things are quite predicted. The expenditure, for instance, on contract mowing at Seaton Road last year actual was 2,700. This year is 2,000. So you can see it's broadly on track. In terms of what we spent last year and indeed the budget. One of the problems with the system is that I nearly produced a separate paper and it can do is it won't print the budget and revised budget in the same in next to each other. You have to change screens to do it, but so we could do it just by printing the budget. But the members have all had that anyway, of course, from when the budget was agreed in January of this year. So does that help us?
Thank you. Can I ask one more follow-up question? Would that be okay? Thank you. So you mentioned that the MMC has got a budget plan. I think it'd be helpful to share that with all members so they can understand the calculations and the mindset behind the budgets of the MMC.
That's a good idea. Yeah, we are planning to do that. And actually, just I think last week agreed a version that we can share more widely. So we're doing that this week.
Thank you. I've got a couple of questions.
Councillor Holly,
Yep. Just to mention the meeting to consider the scheme for the War Memorial Field Trust is next Monday, just in case people want to come to that. It's looking very good actually, the schemes that have come in, and obviously they'll be circulated prior to the meeting. I just wonder if at this point we might take the opportunity to mirror that on Halstead Road. So perhaps not the gym equipment, but certainly something in terms of 12 plus years provision, whether that might be expanded to actually include that and give us some buying power at the same time.
Yeah, we can look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Harris.
Yeah, on page 9, the preset calculator. Last year's wages bill, 198,000, proposed or revised 238. That's a 20% increase. Is that down to extra staff?
No, it's not. It's down to the large increase in to some extent change in staff hours. So it's explained by 2 or 3 main things. One, the government increase in national insurance, which we budgeted for, but has turned out to be greater than we thought.
Yeah.
And the increase in hours of the deputy manager post, so making it full time. So
That needs to be
yeah.
shown, because people look at that like I did. There's 20% difference between one to the other,
It is.
and if there's no explanation for it, you think that's an increase in wages.
I've put something in the covering report, but it's not, some of it is an increase as well, because people have increments. So as well as the increase in pay, but that was budgeted for, came to 11,000. Some people have had increments in their pay, so they've gone up the scale in that year. That's added to it, and largely the national insurance is there, Councillor Harris. So that has explained, that is why it is.
You look at
and they're
a
the
40,000 quid increase.
Yes, they're the two areas. Over last year's actual, if we look at the budget, it's not quite so far out. It's only about 5% out. If we look at the budget for what we had,
If I can pick that up, somebody else will.
Yeah.
pick
So
it.
what we'll do is we'll have to show. If you go back and look at last papers you had in January, you'll see the budget for salaries. And actually the increase overall, the revised budget is about 5%, not 20%. But I agree this doesn't make that clear here, that's why I wrote a bit about it at the beginning.
Right.
So,
I mean, I'm not knocking it.
No.
But it just needs to be shown to explain.
I agree, right, yeah.
Thank you.
It's part of the problem that we don't actually have the budget. We've got what we spent last year, but not what we budgeted for this year, which was higher than 198,000.
Thank you.
It's just going to, just a thought, Ross. Have we got anything in the budget for street furniture? Because a lot of it's looking very...
We have, there's a decision taken by council to replace it, but it's something that the previous deputy manager was working on. And so we have, I think, about £20,000 in an earmarked reserve, so we're not short of money to replace the benches. The ones that we have, of course, we can't that many, but that is something that we can do now. We don't need more money to do. We need to put a programme in place to get that done. I mean, things get moved when the WMFT committee wanted to have gym equipment, then obviously that staff time has been spent doing that, not in replacing the benches and so on. So these things do, when we do new things, has a knock-on effect on some of the replacement schemes. Likewise, at Howstead Road, there's going to be an issue about the multi-use games area, which is probably at its end of its life. So we could buy new things, or we might need to spend money on repairing that, which will be some tens of thousands.
Any more comments? What would you like? We just want to know,
Unless members have got any comments to make, or I say they can contact
we're
us.
happy to.
Or we just note it.
Yes, thank you.
I'm sure most of these will change anyway before you're done.
Well, there's a lot to be filled in yet on the Parish Council 26-27 forecast, but we've got the MMC figures and we've got a revised budget which shows we're broadly spending against what we expected. So is that agreed to be noted then?
Yes, please. That's agreed. There are a show of hands and then a show. That's the majority.
Thank you.
Item 9, to consider Tarmac's response to Regulation 25 request from LCC, which is Appendix 4.
You'll see, Joe, I've circulated a note of the meeting, so some of you were able to attend the meeting with Tarmac, which was very helpful, I think, and interesting. On Wednesday of Thursday of last week, suffering, and it was useful. I mean, one of the key things is that a year has gone past, and the County Council asked Tarmac to provide a lot more information, and they have provided it, but they haven't changed their position fundamentally whatsoever. They've shifted a few things. They've added a bit more traffic calming in on Wood Lane, and as a result of a safety audit, and adjusted a few things and give some more assurances. But basically, the proposal remains the same. And I think it's for members here to comment, because we can comment on this section 25 notice, regulation 25 notice, and we had 30 days in which to do so, hence it's on the agenda here rather than the planning Policy Committee in December, and so it may be sensible that we reiterate our original position at this stage. If members wish to do that, and they can add anything else in terms of what they may have seen from the documents. I didn't send all the documents. There are several hundred pages, but I did send a link if people wanted to look. Thank you, Chair.
Any comments? Oh, Councillor Batchelor.
So the planning authority for this is Leicestershire County Council. Charnwood Borough Council are a consultee, but we in turn are a consultee to Charnwood Borough Council as well as to Leicestershire County Council. So this is now live on the Charnwood Borough Council planning portal as well. So individual people can make their own comments both on Leicestershire County Council and if they wish on Charnwood Borough Council. I would say if they're only going to do one, definitely do Leicestershire County Council. But we are also a consultee of Charnwood Borough Council and can also make the same comments that we make to LCC to Charnwood Borough Council. It would be my personal opinion that we should restate the objections that we originally had, because I don't feel that the documents actually change those objections in any way, really.
No, they seem to be justification rather than anything they're going to change to for any action. Any other comments? Councillor Howard?
Two things. A, I wasn't notified about the meeting on the 6th.
About?
The meeting that out at the quarry.
I did send an email.
Yeah. Send me a text if you want.
Okay. Yeah.
Second thing, I did talk to them after the last quarry liaison meeting we had, and their idea of a new common is a few trees and a few shrubs. And I basically said to them, if you want to get it right, you've got to retransplant all the old oak trees and everything, lock, stock and barrel, and move it to move the common down onto the new piece of land. Which they said, oh, it's going to cost a lot of money.
We did raise that about the trees.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only way,
Mm.
but it's going to be another 50 or 100 years before you ever get a common again, isn't it?
It is part of the objections that we put in.
It can be done. They're thinking of the cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Liz, is that a proposal of yours? Because I will certainly second that in terms of reiterating to Charnwood.
Yes.
Could I add something to your proposal, if I may?
I'd be willing to hear an amendment.
That we request a meeting with LCC as well.
I'd be happy to add that to it if
So that's
Yeah, it would make sense to. We obviously had a meeting last week with Tarmac, and we restated our position. We asked about the things that are outstanding, the lease of land up at the new project off Housestead Road, and they've agreed yet again to try and take that forward because it's all stalled. It's the land on which the allotments would be in the scheme. And we also asked about funding and part of the mitigation and compensation. So what might be available to the village, and there's warm sounds but not a great deal of commitment, so we're going to have to push that as well. In some ways that is more with LCC and the County Council, who could attach conditions to the planning permission if they were minded to permit, and also the section 106 that will come along later, although that will be a long way down the road. Tarmac, you'll see the presentation I sent now, more optimistic in my view, thinking they'll get a decision in second quarter of next year. May happen, but there'll still be a lot of things to happen after that. It won't mean it's all sorted. There'll be all the section 106 matters to agree, which will take another 12 months. And then, as the council, the parish council has been very successful in the past in obtaining section 106 money for projects in the village, that would be the opportunity. But that would be with LCC, not with Tarmac directly. So it is important that we keep talking with LCC and keep the lines of communication going smoothly.
I think it'd be helpful if we had the small group at a meeting with the LCC and Tarmac, just to reiterate everything that we want to do to keep it bubbling and whatever, because if we don't, it could get put on a back burner and whatever. I think we need the boards out and all the rest of it so that they can see where we're still at.
I think, I'm sorry, Councillor Harris.
In the response from, well, some of our paperwork that's in there, there's a list of various things like lifting the road, scout up, all them sort of things. I think they'll go. But if they want to do the job, they're going to have to do the other bits. And it also says that the common has got to be done and completed before they can take the other away and move on.
Yeah.
So they'll be champing at the bit to get moving. Because there'll be 2 or 3 years' work before they
They
get
said they've got 11 years contract left on it.
Yeah, but
They're in
Can you go through the check?
they need to dig that bit out to go down. If you dig down further, you can't get back to get out. So that's what they're panicking about.
I think at the moment we have a proposal that we adhere to the objections as submitted and request a meeting with LCC. Yeah. Yeah?
Yeah.
Do I have a seconder for that? All those in favour? Any against? Any abstentions? Councillor Benn. Councillor Lem, sorry.
I'm abstaining.
Oh, sorry too. So,
Thank you, Chair.
thank you. So that brings us to the end of the meeting. I'll close the meeting.